Hey, welcome back. We are going to make some pretty good progress towards getting this back on the road in today's video. If you're new here, I'm Mook, and this is my 1987 Ford Ranger that has been 302 swapped. It's a mostly stock 302. It has a pretty decent sized cam in it. It's got the F303 in it, and it's got a Holley 750 double pumper on the top. It's got some headers, but other than that, it is a stock as a rock 5-liter from a Lincoln Town Car that supposedly had about 78,000 miles or so on it. It does run. It's pretty good. But yeah, we're just trying to get her back on the road. Still got a lot of things to do. Brakes we got to do. I just got my drive shaft in, which you guys seen in the thumbnail, so that's cool. We got to put the drive shaft in, either see if the current transmission cross member will work with that, because I had to reposition the engine a little bit. If not, we'll have to make one. So first things first though, we're going to put a new master cylinder in and get the brakes sorted out. So let's get to it. I'm gonna have to come up with a way to bench bleed this because it did not come with the fittings, the little plastic fittings that you can hook the little plastic line onto, and I did not want to pay $20 at the parts store for the kit that comes with a massive amount of fittings that I'll never need. So I am just going to kind of loosely put this in here. And I'm going to have to go in the cab and see if these bolts are going to be long enough. I might have to get different bolts. So the master cylinder, the brake master cylinder is going to have to wait. I don't have the right length hardware that is the right size. So we're going to move on to the clutch. And the master cylinder's loosely in and was so when I bought the truck, but it was missing the rod, so we got to put that in, and yeah, we'll see how this is gonna go. So the camera died, but I went ahead and continued working underneath the truck. I got the transmission cross member sorted out, so I'll crawl back under there again for the I don't know how many times. Like, I've been in and out. It's been something. So we'll climb back under there and I'll show you what I've done. It's going to be really hard to see because I don't have any lights other than my phone light, but I was able to make use of the factory transmission cross member. Well, the modified factory transmission cross member. The guy I got the truck from had cut the bushings off either end and was going to hard mount it to the frame like I have it here, so I pretty much had to go with the same plan for now. I did have to move some of the bolt holes to make it work, but it's all in there. I got the hole cut out in the floor where it's supposed to be so we can put the shifter on. I put a new seal on the back of the transmission about a week ago. Didn't really film that, but yeah. I got the steel braided line for the clutch put on to the slave cylinder, so we got to bleed that yet still. So I am going to get the drive shaft and put it in. So let's get it. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this, guys, but we're gonna go ahead and try and put this drive shaft in. I did go ahead and remeasure the angle of the transmission and the pinion. They're not ideal, but they are within a couple degrees of each other. So we're gonna hope that's good enough. All right, take two. Bolt in the pinion Try not to have this fall on my face. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No. No. I hope that's fireworks. Interesting. Alright, so what we're going to do now, guys, is I bought a bracket to mount the throttle cable and everything. I've removed the factory throttle cable already, and I've put this little piece on for the throttle return spring on the carburetor here. So I'm just going to have to take loose these 2 bolts here on this side of the carburetor and then mount the bracket on, and we'll see how it works out. So we got here is this bracket for the throttle cable. It came with a couple of throttle return springs. I don't know how well they're gonna do, and this little bracket to attach to the throttle linkage, and then the other end, the throttle cable comes in here and attaches and then goes through the firewall. I've got just a cheap universal that I'm mocking up right now. I got this all the way forward because I got to make sure that I can get full throttle. I got the got to be flooded all the hell. But yeah, I need to trim this up, and I got the pedal pushed all the way down, and so I can pull the cable snug and make sure that this is getting full throttle, like wide open. Yeah, so this is kind of hard to do one-handed, or with one person anyway, but we're getting there slowly but surely. I've got this all set up fairly well, I suppose. Got the throttle cable through here. Got everything all adjusted as best as I can get it. If it looks like it's cheap, that's because it is. I think all total, this bracket and the throttle cable cost me maybe 40 bucks on Amazon. So yeah, it's cheap. Kind of the name of the game on this project. So what I'm going to do now is hook up the fittings to quote-unquote bench bleed the master cylinder here, because that needs bled. It is bone dry. We'll have to throw some fluid in there and get that going. Then we'll hook up the brake lines, and then we'll start putting the front calipers on. So as I'm sitting here pumping this pedal, I just realized we don't really have a name for this project. So what do you guys think we should call it? I was kind of thinking maybe the Dirty Deeds Ranger, because I'm trying to get it done dirt cheap. Get it? No? Okay. Anyway, why don't you guys leave a comment down below and let us know what you think we should call this. And then if I don't come up with anything, I'll pick the best one in the comments. So I have the world's worst jack. So in order to change the calipers, we're going to have to do this one side at a time. I got the back up on jack stands, so when we go to bleed it, we'll be able to do both those and then come up and have to do the fronts one at a time. So I'm going to zip this off real quick and we'll get started. Alright, so here's our caliper that's going to go on. Yes, it is yellow. And you might be asking yourself, why the hell would you paint it yellow? Trust the process. I got a vision, and I think this is going to look really good behind the wheels that we got. Paint job is kind of shit, because the paint that I bought was kind of shit, but it is what it is. So I'm going to put the time lapse on, and we'll get this knocked together. Alright, update here for you guys. That is the wrong brake caliper. This apparently is a split year, and depending on what side of the split you're on, there's two different brake calipers. Got putting everything back together, noticed the brake hose was not working, then I noticed the calipers were different from the old to the new, yada yada yada. I can't get the right ones until about the middle of next week. So I'll see you guys in a week. It'll be instant for you, but yeah. We're gonna take a step back here, guys. I forgot I didn't show you this drive shaft when it was out of the truck. I'm not gonna pull it back out, but we'll just take a look at it under the truck. It's nothing special. It is 2-inch diameter, which is a little small, but their website says this is rated for up to 450 horsepower. We're not going to make anywhere near that in this truck, in this configuration, so we won't have to worry about it. But it is from a company called Southwest Speed. I just went on their website, gave them the dimensions I needed, and got it ordered up. These do come shipped with a Chevy style slip yoke. I think it's 27 spline, so I did have to have them swap that out with a 28 spline for the Ford T5. But yeah, it was pretty affordable. It was only about $350 shipped with everything, so that's not too bad. So it has been a week or so now, week and a half. We're gonna go ahead and work on the rear brakes, get this situated while we wait on the paint to dry for the front calipers. If you hear that noise in the background, I have a little heater trying to help dry the paint because it's been pretty cold the last few days. I do have the new front calipers, but I'm not sure of the condition of the rear brakes. Everything's a little bit of an unknown. The guy I bought it from told me he's not sure if he took the shoes out of the rear to make it roll easier, or if he didn't touch it, he doesn't remember. So we're gonna have to knock it loose and see what we can find. Okay, that wasn't too bad. It's got shoes. It's got shoes. Could be changed, but they're still pretty good, so we're gonna leave it alone. I didn't buy any shoes for the rear. Anyway, all this stuff looks good. Doesn't look like that wheel cylinder's been leaking any. That all looks really good. I'm gonna spray that bleeder down because it's crusty and tiny, which is a recipe for snappage. Let me get my can of brake clean here, and we'll clean her out. Gonna do a little bit of a vice grip garage rebuild on these rear brakes here. Brand new. Yep, brand and new. Yep, just as I thought, this is gonna be a bit of a nightmare. So I got it juiced up. I'm gonna add a little heat, a little bit of juice, and we'll see what happens. Trying to pop the bleeders loose, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's so rusted it snapped off, and I had to use every trick I knew to even try to loosen it up with no luck. And then this fitting over here fought me as well. The other one on the other side wasn't really too bad, but I know I said I wasn't going to replace these brake shoes, but not being able to get the bleeder loose on the wheel cylinder changes things. So of course I have to replace the wheel cylinders now. So if we're going to be taking this all apart, I'm not going to put it back together with these old shoes. I just finished up putting the brakes together. I still got to bleed it yet, but I'll do that off camera. Y'all, I'm sure, know how bleeding brakes goes, and you don't want to see another time lapse of it. But yeah, I got these calipers on, and as you can see, yes, I still went with yellow. I know you're probably asking, why the heck did I paint another set yellow? It was my opportunity to change colors, but I'll throw the wheel up that I'm going to use for this truck and give you guys a look at how it all looks together, minus tires. I don't have tires just yet, but yeah, I'll show you that. Then I'm gonna bleed the brakes and I'll be back with you. Alright, here's a look at the steel wheels that I got for this truck. These wheels for me are kind of a key feature of this build. I just really dig the look of these. I wanted to get some like arrows, like some actual arrow wheels, but these are just kind of a knockoff I picked up on Marketplace. And I don't know, maybe you guys don't agree with me on this, but I think that yellow looks killer behind those wheels, especially when we get it out in actual daylight instead of under these shop lights with some tires on it. I think that's gonna look super sick. It has been a couple weeks, but I got the brakes all sorted out. Everything's hooked up and bled, but in typical Midwest fashion, it is now 25 degrees outside and it snowed today. 2 weeks ago it was almost in the 80s, and yeah, it's cold as hell now. But I'm gonna fire this thing up and then we're gonna go around back and see if transmission and everything works. We're gonna put it in gear, see if the wheels spin, and make sure the brakes actually work. Because I haven't actually tested it yet. I just have everything bled. I was going to back it out today, or try to anyway, but the tires that I have for the front are shot. They lost all their air and I can't get them to take air back. So it's going to have to wait until we get that fixed. But yeah, let's fire this thing up, see how she's going to do in the cold. Alright, this will be a true cold start test here. Let's see, we'll give her 2 pumps and see how she goes. Yeah. A little slow. But she fired up. Let's give this a few minutes, wait for her to warm up. Yeah, I don't know how well you can see this, but there's just, as soon as I turned the camera off, this thing just flooded open. I don't know if the needle and seat got stuck, which this is all brand new. I just put this all together, but we were running some pretty nasty fuel through this, so I gave her a couple of taps with the special carburetor adjuster, and I'm gonna turn the fuel pump on and see what happens. We're gonna have to let this sit a bit because it is definitely flooded. Fuel pump's on. Let me see if I can't adjust the, yeah, it's pouring out. And this camera ain't pointing where I need it to be. Yeah, let me shut this off and see if I can adjust the float. Alright, I think I got that sorted out. So let's give this another go. It is freaking cold out. Let's see. Make sure it's not flooding. I don't even know if you guys will be able to hear me. Kind of need it to idle up a little bit. Trying to flip this around so I can see the temp gauge. Oh, what the fuck, bro? There goes flooding over again. Alright, 3rd time's the charm here. What the fuck, bro? How? Alright, I think I got it figured out. So, fingers crossed, we're going to try this again, and if it's fixed, I'll show you what the problem was. Still dead cold. I don't know if you can hear me. Hopefully you can. And no flooding yet. Alright, I got it all warmed up and I did figure out what the problem was. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. I might put if I can get a good picture of it with my phone, I'll put it up now, but that O-ring on this needle and seat was split. Not sure how that happened from the last time I started it till now. But yeah, it is split, and I did have a new needle and seat in this carb kit, which I elected not to install when I rebuilt that carburetor because I figured, well, this is all right. It's just an O-ring. This isn't stuck. Whatever. I won't replace it. Well, here we are. Replaced it now. So fire this back up, and I'm gonna put her in gear. We're gonna make sure the clutch works, and make sure the brakes work. And we're letting out on the clutch now. Okay, let's try that again. First gear, there we go. And that's right at the bottom. Seems like everything works, but I did notice when I pushed in that clutch pedal, that throwout bearing was making a lot of noise. So yeah, I really don't want to have to pull this transmission back out, but we might have to. That's gonna be it for this one, guys. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. I know this has taken a while, but I am building this as fast as my wallet will allow me. So, but we are making good progress on it. Hopefully in the next one we'll be actually driving this thing out of here. I'm gonna have to get some tires, but we'll see how that goes. Again, we need to come up with a name for this project. So if you think of something clever, put it down in the comments below and maybe we'll get this thing named. All right. Have a good one, guys.